Hello, my name's Nick. I grew up in England, but I've spent most of my life in Germany and the rest of Europe. For the last 20 years, I've been tutoring and teaching economics, accounting, corporate finance, and business communication at bachelor's and master's level. You may recognize these subjects. They are the ones that most people are frightened of. They used to frighten me too. I changed subject between school and university from history and literature to physiology and psychology, and I changed subject again for my master's degree to economics and accounting. So even though I write books about economics and accounting and lecture on these subjects all over Europe, Russia, China, even Mongolia, I haven't forgotten what it's like to feel lost in an unfamiliar subject. What's the secret to staying on track? If you can get it, tutoring really helps. Some of my tutors at Oxford were brilliant, and I wouldn't have survived without them. They gave me the individual interaction I needed, but most universities and business schools just don't offer that sort of individual support. That's where I come in. I have a passion for explaining things. I live for that moment where I can hear, actually physically hear, a student suddenly understand something that may have been holding them up for days. But it takes two to tutor and be tutored. I supply the knowledge, the experience of how that knowledge is used in the real world, and the teaching materials to communicate that knowledge too. You have to tell me where you want to go. It might be creating an application to a university or business school, or preparing to take an exam, either to get into a course or to graduate successfully from it. It could also involve a much narrower focus, some quite specific topic that seems to be holding you back. Perhaps one of those topics that students and teachers on your course just assume that everyone knows already. I spent 10 years as a consultant in daily fear that someone would notice that I couldn't do debit and credit accounting entries. I'd never learned, because it was assumed that everyone had covered such basic knowledge years before. But in the end, I turned my ignorance into advantage by developing a new way to learn and remember which entries are debits and which are credits. I even wrote an interactive app to teach it. So, in fact, those frightening subjects are not so frightening after all. You've got the motivation. Now you need someone who has the experience to diagnose your knowledge gaps and design a way of filling the gaps that is right for you. That's what I do. That's what I enjoy doing. And that's why I'm a tutor.